Let me tell you something most men are afraid to admit. If you have to ask a woman for intimacy, you've already lost her desire. Not because sex is bad, not because she doesn't feel attracted, but because the moment you ask, you shift the energy from masculine leadership to approval-seeking weakness. She isn't rejecting sex. She's rejecting the man who doesn't know how to create the space for it to happen naturally. A man who needs permission to lead, rather than embodying the kind of presence that makes her want to surrender without a single word. This video isn't about pickup lines or manipulation. It's about psychological truth. It's about the masculine polarity that women unconsciously crave, and how most men unknowingly kill it by being too polite, too passive, or too damn afraid to express real, grounded desire. Women don't fantasize about being asked for intimacy. They fantasize about a man whose presence makes intimacy feel inevitable. A man who doesn't push, but pulls. Who doesn't convince, but provokes. Who doesn't react, but leads with his energy, his timing, and his calm, masculine control. So here's my promise. By the end of this video, you will understand why asking for intimacy never works, and more importantly, how to become the kind of man who never has to ask. Stay to the end, because what I'm about to share isn't a trick. It's a transformation. And if that resonates with you, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below. I don't beg, I attract. Now let's dive into the uncomfortable truth most men ignore. Number 1, she doesn't want sex with weak men. Let's be brutally honest. A woman rarely rejects sex itself. She rejects the man who offers it from weakness. It's not the act, it's the energy behind the act. When a man brings neediness, hesitation, or self-doubt into a moment of intimacy, she shuts down, not because she isn't interested in sex, but because she can't feel safe surrendering to a man who hasn't even claimed himself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And this is the exact strength she craves, not in your muscles, not in your charm, but in your internal frame. Men today confuse being nice with being desirable. They think if they're polite, emotionally available, and never pushy, women will melt. But that behavior, while respectful, doesn't trigger female desire. Desire is not about fairness. It's not about niceness. It's about emotional polarity. She doesn't fantasize about the man who nervously asks, "Is it okay if I kiss you now?" She dreams of the man who enters her space with silent certainty. The man who says nothing, yet makes her heart race by simply being present. Weak men seek permission. Strong men offer clarity. And clarity is what liberates her from doubt and lets her feel safe surrendering to the moment. This is where your inner work begins. If your mind is cluttered with self-doubt, if you constantly seek her approval, your body will betray you. Even when you say all the right things, she'll feel something is off. That's why the nice guy gets ghosted, while the man with calm, unapologetic desire stays in her thoughts for weeks. So ask yourself right now, are you showing up with energy that invites her deeper into herself? Or are you asking her to carry the weight of your insecurity? Because a woman doesn't reject sex. She rejects the man who hasn't claimed his own masculine core. And that's the first thing you must master, not her body, your presence. Number 2, stop asking permission. Let her lose. Here's a harsh truth. Every time you ask for permission, you lose power. And when you lose power, you lose her attraction. We're not talking about being forceful. We're talking about the subtle psychological difference between seeking validation and embodying leadership. When you say, "Can I kiss you now?" Or, "Do you want me to stay the night?" You think you're being respectful. But to her, it sounds like this: "I'm not sure if I'm enough. Please give me approval." Stoicism teaches us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Marcus Aurelius, when you constantly look for green lights from her before you act, you're handing her emotional control over the interaction. And women don't want to control it. They want to feel it. They want to feel your confidence, not your compliance. They want to feel led, not negotiated with. Let me give you a scene. You're sitting beside her. The room is dim. Your conversation is soft. Tension is rising. She leans and ever so slightly breathes slower. You feel it. But instead of leaning into the moment, you interrupt the energy with, "Can I kiss you?" Boom. The moment dies. Not because she didn't want it, but because you didn't know how to lead without asking. What separates boys from men isn't aggression. It's direction. A stoic man doesn't blurt out his desires and beg for them to be fulfilled. He moves with quiet certainty. If she resists, he respects it. But he doesn't tiptoe around every action like a boy waiting for approval from his teacher. Leadership in intimacy is not about pressure. It's about reading the moment and moving with intent. So from this point forward, replace your habit of asking with a habit of reading, sensing, and leading. Because if you don't, you won't just lose the moment, you'll lose her respect. Number 3, female desire is silent, not logical. You think women make decisions like you do, logically, deliberately, step by step. But here's what no one told you. Desire doesn't follow logic. It follows energy. You could be the kindest man, say all the right words, show her endless patience, and she still won't feel a thing. Why? Because female desire isn't a checklist. It's an undercurrent. It's a felt sense that bypasses a rational mind. She may say, "I want a respectful, stable, emotionally available man." But the moment she meets a man who moves with mystery, stillness, and unapologetic masculine intent, she's drawn to him before she even knows why. Stoicism reminds us, man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Epictetus, most men become anxious when they can't understand her behavior. She said she wasn't ready, but she slept with someone else a week later. I was so respectful. Why didn't you feel the same way? Because you were playing chess. She was playing music. And music doesn't follow moves. It follows feeling. She isn't scanning your resume for goodness points. She's scanning your energy, your groundedness, your tension, your ability to move her without explaining a thing. This is why logic kills seduction. You try to convince her. She tries to feel you. You explain your value. She senses whether your presence holds weight. So if you're tired of doing everything right and getting friend-zoned, it's time to stop strategizing and start mastering your state. Stop performing. Start embodying. Because female desire doesn't bloom in logic. It blooms in the heat of energy she can't predict or control. You can't talk your way into her heart. You have to resonate your way in. And that begins when you stop asking, "What does she want?" and start asking, "What am I broadcasting?" without a single word. Number 4, your sexual energy speaks louder than words. Here's a brutal truth. Most men think attraction is about saying the right things, but women don't fall for words. They fall for what those words carry underneath. You could tell her you're confident. You could explain that you're calm, grounded, masculine. But if your body trembles, your gaze flinches, your presence collapses in front of her beauty, she doesn't hear confidence. She hears fear. Your words are irrelevant if your energy contradicts them. A woman can feel your need before you open your mouth. She reads your desire like heat from a flame, either wild and uncontrolled or strong and steady. Most men repress their sexual energy out of fear. Fear of being too much. Fear of making her uncomfortable. Fear of being rejected. So they hide it. They play nice. They act safe. And then wonder why she says, "You're sweet, but I don't feel that spark." That spark? It's not found in compliments. It's in the charge between your body and hers. It's in the intention behind your stillness. It's in the nonverbal clarity that says, "I want you and I don't apologize for it." Marcus Aurelius would say, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." You don't need to declare your sexual energy. You need to own it, silently, powerfully, unapologetically. Because when a man contains his desire, not suppresses it, not explodes with it, but contains it, she feels something deeper than safety. She feels excited, curious, awakened. Your sexual energy is either leaking or radiating. If it's leaking from insecurity or approval seeking, she'll retreat. But if it radiates from calm power, she'll lean in. She'll feel the flame and want to step closer. So the next time you're in her presence, ask yourself, am I trying to prove something? Or am I just letting her feel what I've already mastered? Number 5, the man who doesn't react excites her. Most men today are like leaves in the wind, tossed around by every message, every glance, every silence from a woman. She doesn't text back, he panics. She posts a story with another guy, he spirals. She seems distant, he overcompensates, gets clingy, or withdraws completely. This is emotional reactivity, and to her it smells like weakness. Here's what no one told you. When you react, she controls the energy. When you stay centered, she feels your power. Because the man who doesn't react to her coldness, her tests, or her silence, he stands out like a mountain among boys. She doesn't want a robot, but she also doesn't want a man who loses himself at the first sign of challenge. A stoic man, on the other hand, lives by this principle from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't need constant approval. He doesn't beg to be chosen because he's already chosen himself. And that is magnetic. When a woman senses a man who is unfazed, not in a fake, arrogant way, but in a calm, self-led way, she begins to wonder, who is this man that doesn't need anything from me? And right there, desire is born, because she can't control him. She can't predict him. She can't manipulate him. And that pulls her in deeper than words ever could. Here's the paradox. The man who doesn't need her attention gets it. The man who doesn't flinch when ignored becomes unforgettable. The man who stays grounded while others scramble becomes irresistible. You don't need to become colder. You need to become calmer. Calmness is a threat in a world of men who panic, and she feels it. So next time she tests you, whether consciously or not, don't play her game. Don't try to win her. Don't try to impress her. Just stay still. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Because the man who doesn't react becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Number 6, make her suggest it first. The hidden trick. Here's one of the most powerful truths about female desire, and almost no one teaches it. The deepest kind of attraction happens when she feels it was her idea. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you master a different kind of leadership. One rooted in emotional provocation, not verbal persuasion. Because when a woman feels she made the move, initiated the contact, crossed the line, her desire triples. You see, most men destroy the mystery with words like, when will we take this further? I really want you. Don't you want to spend the night? They kill the tension. They make her feel pressured, not desired. And pressure shuts down her body. But presence? That awakens it. When you create an emotional environment of grounded masculine stillness, she begins to feel something she doesn't fully understand, but desperately wants to explore. Her body will say, you feel so calm. Why are you so quiet? You make me nervous, but in a good way. That's not small talk. That's desire testing the waters. She's feeling it, but she wants to feel safe choosing it. Not pushed, not rushed, just invited by the energy in the room. And if you can stay present without needing to take action, if you can hold eye contact without flinching, if you can relax in the silence while her body stirs with tension, she will make the move. She might touch your hand, lean closer, whisper something ambiguous. But make no mistake, she is inviting you because you've mastered the art of containment. And the man who can contain himself is the one who makes her want to be the one who breaks the tension. So remember, sex isn't asked for. It's provoked. Desire doesn't grow under pressure. It blossoms under mystery. When she feels like she made the decision, her desire becomes personal, intense, and lasting. And that's how you stop chasing and start being chosen. Let's be brutally honest. If you have to beg for desire, if you constantly ask, what am I doing wrong? If you find yourself performing, pleasing, and still ending up rejected, then you've been taught everything backward. Because intimacy was never about technique. It was never about finding the right words. And it certainly was never about asking for permission. It was always about energy. A woman doesn't say yes because of your logic. She says yes because of how you make her feel in silence. When you walk into a room with grounded, masculine presence. When you gaze at her without apology, but without pressure. When your desire isn't loud, but undeniable. She doesn't feel manipulated. She feels moved. That's the power you've had within you all along. But it's buried under conditioning. That you must prove yourself. That you must wait for approval. That desire is something to hide or ask for. But the Stoics knew better. They taught us that a man must master himself first. That the deepest strength is silent. And that the most powerful action is restraint. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. Don't ask for intimacy. Become the man she feels safe desiring. And if you've watched this far, it means you're done living in doubt. You're ready to stop asking and start attracting. So here's your challenge. Tonight, walk into every room like you need nothing, but you're open to everything. Watch how the world and women respond. If this video hits something inside you, like it now. Subscribe to join this movement of Stoic men reclaiming their power. And drop a comment below. I don't ask. I attract. Let's talk, let's grow, and let's lead. You were never meant to beg for desire. You were meant to ignite it. See you in the next one.